Welcome to the LaunchPad, where ideas lift off, but only if they're good. From self-driving cars to protein bars, 16 aspiring entrepreneurs are looking to win a spot at the final pitch day. That's where they'll have the opportunity to present their ideas in front of a live audience to attract investments and maybe even win a cash prize. But before all that, they must face our 3 experienced industry experts. Will these budding entrepreneurs impress with their pitch, or will they crumble under pressure? Stepping out onto the LaunchPad is Brendan and Stephen from RippleFarms with an eco-friendly treat.
Well, I'm an urban farmer. Our company is RippleFarms, and we are urban farmers that grow vertically using aquaponics. Yeah, so I was actually born in Newfoundland, so I think that's where a lot of my inspiration in food and farming comes from. Most of my extended family still has a plot of land in their backyard, like my grandmother. She's well into her golden years, and she's still farming, pulling potatoes out of the ground. And I always remember kind of having the jigs dinner, kind of a traditional meal from Newfoundland, and having all those elements incorporated into that, and it was just kind of ingrained in my memory.
I'm born and raised in Toronto, but I got my exposure to nature by having a family cottage that was passed down through our family through a few generations. Getting into agriculture sort of started by seeing my great-grandparents and farming up at our cottage, and then basically taking that sort of passion that they had, watching it sort of fall by the wayside through the generations as my parents worked in a sort of urbanized lifestyle. And so the first time I ever planted a seed, watched it grow, and then I ate the food, it was probably one of the most not only rewarding but amazing experiences in terms of watching the transformation of this tiny little thing become something so big and flourishing, and then being able to taste it at the end of the day was awesome.
Do you remember what that seed was, that first seed?
It was a beet. Traditional to, I'm Polish, so beets and cabbage are pretty much the traditional meal, so it was kind of funny that that was my first crop.
So I'm kind of driving the social enterprise of it all, whereas Brandon is more of the master grower, we'll call him, chief of operating. So he's the mastermind behind the science and biology of the system and how we're going to scale up. Whereas I'm kind of running the social enterprise and really looking at the long-term picture of what RippleFarms can be in the future.
Well, at RippleFarms, we're just starting with our pilot project here at Evergreen. In terms of our uniqueness of the concept in our building envelope, we're using a shipping container, and in the shipping container on I'll call the basement is where our aquaculture system is. On the roof of the shipping container, we have a greenhouse that houses our vertical farming infrastructure. So using soilless growing technique, we can actually increase the density of our plants to about 8 times that of traditional agriculture. Our target right now is to get anywhere between 1/4 and 1/2 acre worth of crop in 160 square feet.
Land is much more expensive in cities, so we had to find that magic sauce, if you will, and working with key partners like Evergreen Brickworks and growing in small, kind of confined spaces, places that most people wouldn't dare dream of farming. We're growing food on top of concrete.
We love to use Brickworks as a platform to launch innovation in city, and they're clearly doing that. They're growing food in a container next to our market where our visitors and eaters can learn more about how they can grow food in an urban environment and how we can learn to sustain ourselves in a better way.
And so it's amazing our ability to use the sustainable technology that was actually rooted in Egyptian and Mayan culture, and then bring that here to sort of modern day society and actually create a business case for the urban farmers of the future.
I know our container style greenhouse everyone sees that as kind of an image of Ripple Farms, but we can actually take that concept of aquaponics and really put it anywhere. On top of a roof for a condo building for the residents. We can actually go in a basement. We could even take over the Air Canada Centre if we like.
Can these 21st century farmers break the mold and bring the farm to the city? Let's see what our panel of industry experts had to offer to these new age farmers. Mohan Markandair, Managing Partner at Good News Ventures, whose expertise is in identifying market opportunities and developing technology solutions. Balinder Rai, Senior Business Development Manager at the Ontario Centres of Excellence. Balinder specializes in facilitating connections between Ontario industry and academia to develop and commercialize innovative technologies. Angelo Del Duca, an angel investor with York Angels with extensive industrial experience including research and development of electronic systems and devices.
I think one of the challenge might be scaling this, right? So every implementation that you have to do, you have to raise again, or you need some funding. Have you thought about licensing these technologies to some partners, and that is your value proposition, that is your IP. So then you're not just like anybody else, right? Because there are folks that are doing a similar concept. So maybe that's something for you to explore, because I mean, you raise money, you do 5,000 square foot. How do you scale that? So anyway, just a recommendation.
Well, that's a great point, and we have talked to one of our mentors actually about a possible franchisable model.
Yeah, I think the circular economy notion you mentioned, I think that's really exciting, especially kind of not just as a trend, and it's not a trend or a fad. I think it really speaks, not just your technology, but kind of the benefits you've described, really speaks to the innovation, right? So it's not just technology innovation, it's social innovation as well. So I think you guys have a really, really exciting business.
One of our main pillars is really to close the loop on every aspect of our business. And like you said, is always innovate, keep innovating, researching, because there's a lot of work to be done here, and we have to partner with the right people and fight this fight together. So.
And I'd suggest you get some of those champions on your team. Yeah. And the champions are actually the end user of your products, the chefs, because they'll be your best sales and marketing team.
Absolutely.
Word travels very quickly, especially in the dining community. And you have a pretty compelling story, not only for yourself as a company, but for the restaurant themselves, on how they're bringing positive contribution to sustainability. So I think the work on that, and that could probably buffer some of your availability to concentrate on the scale up and the different business models that Mohan suggested.
Yeah.
That's an excellent recommendation.
Thank
you
you
all very much.
You.
Kudos to these forward-thinking entrepreneurs who are reducing our carbon footprint and bringing delicious and fresh produce to the cities and reintroducing the love of farming to a whole new generation. Coming up, we meet another exciting new venture.